what I have to say is I was very surprised with the results, and these are just some of the cases that I've been able to follow up for a long period of time. So I'll give you some data. This very first case here, now you'll notice this is week 8. I apologize, week 0 disappeared, but this is making a very good point here because this patient basically had about 1/3 of his nail which was positively mycotic. When he came in, first of all, very tentatively, I thought, well, I'd make a few holes at the top here, at the distal end. And I sent the patient away for 8 weeks to spray onto his nail 1% terbinafine solution. You need a low surface tension, so an alcoholic solution of terbinafine, which is in the UK is Lamisil AT spray. I asked him to spray that on once a day onto his nail with his foot flat and just to rub it in. After 8 weeks, can we just go back on that slide? I know we can go back. After 8 weeks, we found that the fungus was dying off in the area of treatment. The first thing that happens, the color changed, and the first thing the patient says is, my nails changed color. And the nail has changed color, as you can see, where the area of treatment was. Where the area of treatment was, that's where the terbinafine's been applied. But where I didn't put the holes, it's remained active. So after a few more holes and another 8 weeks, and it was going very well. And this is what it looked like at week 20. And you can see nail clearance, and this is growing out. But also what you see here is a line, and it's just to emphasize the point that usually fungal infections strike where there's damage. And this nail has been prior damaged, as you can see here with this groove, and that's probably why the fungus has decided to invade that particular part of the nail. So when you're advising patients who are going to use any antifungal, is to say to them, it's quite possible this may reveal some nail damage that was there prior to the infection, so your nails may not look perfect. But I think that's a point that's been emphasized a lot, and very important point to make to patients undergoing any form of treatment. By week 26, it was looking a lot better, and the patient was delighted they'd finally got rid of the fungus. But of course, 80% of fungus will come back within 4 years. That's data from an Icelandic study. So the patients must continue to treat their skin periodically, otherwise the infection will return from the skin back into the nail. So it's very important that all the patients who have this, as with all therapies really, that they use an antifungal on their skin. As long as the skin is clear, it is very hard to reinfect the nails on their own. And that's a review. The next patient, this is an interesting patient because she had what I call a tri-stripe fungal nail, which some people pay a lot of money for that in a nail parlor these days. This looks really funky, but she didn't think it was that funky, and she was very annoyed that these yellow stripes were heading down south into the nail matrix, and she needed some treatment. Very, very simply, all I did was to make some holes into the yellow stripes and center away for a few weeks. Once again, terbinafine spray once a day. She bought that from the pharmacist. It was about $8, and away she went. By week 6, she came back, and she was just checking everything was okay, because what had happened is the nail had collapsed. And this was very, very common. What had happened, the antifungal had been soaked up into the dermatophytoma, and where it had been eating away at the underside of the nail, the whole nail caved in. And this is a common phenomena. And basically, you can see there that it's all fallen away. That was a good sign. By week 16, she was clear, and by week 28, when I last saw her, there was no fungal impression in the nail at all, so she was very, very happy with that. And this was it at review. From that to that, she was delighted. The patient demanded that he have some treatment using this device. I didn't think it was going to work because we had quite a severe infection involving the natrix. But nevertheless, I went ahead and put some holes into this and sent him away for his 8 weeks. 8 weeks, not much, and I didn't have much hope for this gentleman, but he persevered. By week 16, I was seeing clearing at the proximal area. The nail was coming through very distorted, but I think that was just because the nail had been damaged beforehand. And by week 24, he was actually delighted. Although, as you can see, the nail's dystrophic, the fungal infection was clearing very, very rapidly. He'd stopped treating daily treatment with terbinafine by about week 16, so he just left it to grow out. So at the end of it, he was very delighted, and as I say, there's more work going on with this device, and this device is up for